What's up, guys? Welcome to another Battlefield 3 Showdown, and today is going to be a super special episode because we're having our first ever triple threat match between three pistols: the M1911, the M9, and the MP443. They all are kind of similar, obviously they're going to have their unique differences, but they have some quirks that make them a little bit better in certain situations than the others. So today is a Battlefield Showdown first, so stay tuned. But yes, an all-pistol showdown between three pistols, and that should be a pretty good episode because it is a Battlefield Showdown first. But last week we did the M249 versus the MG36, and the M249 was the substantial winner. Most people voted for it, and most people left a comment for that weapon. I think it may have to do with the fact that the MG36 is kind of glitched right now, so it lost its extended mags. But if you want to be a part in this week's episode and have your say in the winner, be sure to vote in the Facebook poll and leave your comments, because we always use those in the next episode. But this week we're doing the three pistols that all look kind of similar. They're not really that much different in terms of looks, but their insides are much different. The 1911 does a substantial amount of damage at 34, which means it can get 3 bullet kills, reloads much slower, has a smaller magazine, and shoots much slower, where its counterparts do 25 damage, and it shoots a lot faster and reloads a lot faster. So on one end of the spectrum you have this high hitting, slow shooting, but slow reloading M1911, and on the other end you have the high magazine capacity, fast reloading, but they don't do as much damage other pistols, and we'll call the other pistols the MP443 and the M9. And the thing about those two, the only difference between those two, they do the exact same damage, have the exact same recoil patterns, they have the exact same attachments. The biggest difference lies in the fact that the MP443 can actually take a couple more bullets. It can have 17 plus 1, whereas the M9 has 15 plus 1. So you do gain a couple more bullets when using the MP443, which can be an advantage in a firefight. Now, I found that if you're looking for a pistol that's, a pistol that's good at taking out multiple targets, then the MP443 is definitely going to be the advantage. Now, I want to do a disclaimer. A lot of these clips you're going to see are me running around with only the pistol. And in most situations, that's not what the pistol is going to be good for. So keep that in mind when voting for these, because you have to look at the pistol, how it performs as a sidearm, not as a primary. If I was going for a pistol that I'd want as a primary, I'm either going to go with the Magnum or I'm going to go with the MP443, because it does have more bullets and or cartridges, whatever you want to call them. It does have more ammunition within the magazine, which means that you can have more shots at the person, because outside of range, the 1911 really starts to look poor compared to the other two pistols. Just because up close, yes, it's going to do more damage, but the drop off, it drops off to a 13.75, just like the other one. So at longer ranges, the 1911 is just an average bearer. There's nothing special about it. It just has less ammo. So you need to factor that in. If you're looking at a longer range pistol, perhaps you should consider, I don't know why you'd be looking at a longer range, but perhaps you should consider using the M9 or the MP443. Now, my favorite silence one out of the bunch is the MP443, because like I said, it's going to take more bullets with the silencer. It's already going to take a lot of bullets with the pistols, because the pistols don't do a lot of damage, and slapping a silencer on it definitely increases the time that you have to kill somebody. Like, it really takes a lot of bullets to knock someone down, but you do gain that stealth. So if I'm going for like the stealthy approach, if I want a pistol that's really good for running up behind like 3 or 4 people on Metro and taking them out, the MP443 is the way to go, because it does have that extra ammunition. Now, from the hip, all pistols perform the same. Recoil patterns are all the same. Even with the 1911, the recoil pattern is exactly the same, so there's really no advantage there. The biggest advantages you're looking at here are the reload times and are the rate of fire. The 1911 feels like you're shooting really slow when you switch from you switch from these other two pistols and you put on the 1911. You feel like you're shooting like, I don't know, you feel like you're throwing rocks at the people, because you just have to sit there and cock your arm back, throw the rock, cock your arm back, throw the rock. Whereas with the other ones, you can kind of spam the trigger a lot better. So the choice this week, you have 3 options here. You have one with a larger magazine, but seems to the thing about the MP443, besides the larger magazine, it is much smaller. It's much more compact, and I found it's a lot easier to aim down the sights with the MP443. And in that situation, I would almost never choose the M9 over this pistol. There's really no reason to choose the M9, personally. I mean, my winner this week is definitely the MP443. And the strange thing about it is, is if you're going for a true sidearm, I would say pick the 1911. But if you're picking the sidearm that seems to be the most practical in every situation, the MP443 is the way to go. Because the M1911 does, finish off people a lot easier than the other pistols, because you can get a 3-shot kill up close, and that's pretty useful if you're out of ammo or if you snipe someone and you want to switch. It's going to be a lot easier to kill that person quicker with the 1911 up close. Whereas when you start to see more people, where you start to get in engagements where they're a little bit outside of your range of the pistol, the lower damage pistols are definitely the way to go. Now, you may notice absent from this showdown is the G17 C suppressed. I did not include that because it does have a lot of differences that make it kind of unique. It's kind of different than the G18 even, because it seems to have less recoil. The drop off doesn't start as fast, so I don't really think the G17 belongs in this category. So this week I want you guys to choose between these two, or these three I should say. So if you missed any of the last episodes though, we did the M249 versus the MG36, and before that we did the P90 versus MP7. Two awesome episodes. Catch up if you missed them, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.